Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Trueslider Gaming. Doing a little bit of a different twist while I get some of my games through. I wanted to give you some gameplay and impressions of the Anthem demo. So there is a free beta weekend from, I think it was February 1st to February 3rd. So obviously by the time you see this video, it's probably going to be too late, but I figured I might as well just give everyone kind of a preview of what's going on. Surprisingly enough, the recommended settings for this game just happen to be my rig's full capacity. But even then, you see a lot of, I don't know, frame drops and, I don't know, terrible things like motion blur. So always make sure before you play any game that you disable that monstrous feature. But yeah, as you might be able to see, playing on my Origin account, I have many account names, of course, but oh well, who cares? It's going to be a lot like most Bioware games. I'm trying to think of the one that goes back, maybe like Dragon Age Inquisition for multiplayer. The easier you play, the easier it is to win, and then you get like your normal, and each bump up, you start seeing the damage and the health increase. Think of it like Diablo. Chance of dropping rare items is increased until, I'm assuming you're running around Grandmaster if they choose for that to be the ceiling. When you start out, you get to play as the Ranger, and then once you hit, I think it's like suit level 12, then it allows you to unlock a new class. I had gone ahead and switched to what looked like the most plasticky, frail looking javelin. Javelins are just these bodysuits that allow you to fly. And yeah, while everything else looks like, I don't know, kind of like Destiny hardened, Warframe focused, body ninja mech suits, this one's just kind of like, I don't know, AliExpress. Not a lot of safety is going to be involved. I've played just a little bit. I've run the dungeon 3 times and successfully completed it twice. Not because it is a difficult dungeon, but because server stability is, I don't know, so-so right now. Usually there's no lag. Instead of lag, there's just catastrophic server crash. But each class has components. So for example, you have an interceptor. I just so happen to get a rare interceptor right off the bat. That gives me, I think it's like 5% damage across the board, plus some extra fun stats. Shield, javelin, shotgun ammo. Probably not gonna use the shotgun ammo. There's a lot of difficulty in this game that I find that comes from trying to get in the face of some of these enemies, and hopefully they either balance that out or fix it for interceptor like classes. Who Interceptor's ultimate is you basically just go ninja frenzy and you try to slice and dice everyone, but I tend to get my ass handed to me every single time. But realistically, otherwise, you're getting the full Destiny experience. You have mines, you have a strike system. So for example, this one is just ninja stars. So every single class has a different type of strike system. Support systems are also different. This one focuses on kind of like a big DPS, but also support capacity. I don't really care about breaking myself free of status effects too much, although getting frozen in this game does suck. Targeting beacon marks a target to take 33 more damage is kind of the, I don't know, the elite mob skill that I use all the time. I'm rocking a machine pistol, which seems to be okay for more in the fray, and then I'm rocking marksman's rifle for any other kind of ranged combat. The type of weapons that you can get vary, and a lot of it comes down to whatever the flavor text is. So hold down the trigger and sight focus more sharply, increasing accuracy. So while I'm assuming this is while you're in sight focus. So right click, for those of you who might be confused, just reduces accuracy loss from auto fire. And then of course, like, you can get versions of the exact same gun. So for example, here's 2 marksman's rifles. One's focused on more damage but farther away, and this one is just a little less damage, but you get 3 shot bursts. Obviously at this level and this scaling, 10 damage isn't really going to be the end of the world. That 45 range, I don't know. There seems to be a kind of sweet spot that's around like this 35, so I'm not too worried. I would be excited to see what comes out of sniper rifles. But yeah. So, I had already gone through the first. They give you 3 story missions and a dungeon to run. For some reason, every time I come back here, all of my story missions were set. I don't know if it's just a bug, but I'm pretty sure it's more just like get this demo out the door kind of problems. But in place of that, we're going to go to quick play. And let's go around, yeah, why don't we go around here? Oh, reinforced tutorial. Quick play allows you to join an expedition with spaces available. You can select mission or stronghold to activate quick play. Oh, it's literally just giving me a demo for which type of quick play I want. And I don't want either. I want free play. So yeah, we're gonna play on hard because hard really isn't that hard. You'll see a lot of people die, but honestly, it's not the end of the world. It's pretty easy for the sake of the demo, anyways. So, you get through the first 3 story missions. Honestly, whatever you see in other reviews are probably going to be pretty bang on. It's a Destiny system with a Bioware twist. So it's your typical Borderlands loot grab-a-thon and farming simulator. They've done different things to allow for a proper, I don't know. It's hard to put it into words now that I've fully described it. So for example, when you guys played Mass Effect, and if you haven't played Mass Effect, why haven't you played Mass Effect? Mass Effect kind of revolved around the comboing system. So you would prime a target and then you'd use a finisher to explode. So we're getting to see a little sneak peek of that here. So there are classes like the Mage, who can freeze. There's classes like the Ranger, who can shoot rockets and explode different targets. And yeah, although, you know, in Mass Effect 3, you know, they kind of went, well, this, you know, comboing system is basically the best thing that this game has to offer. So we're going to make this entire game about that, and guns are going to have a very minimal, not impact, but it's just, you definitely won't feel as strong using guns than you would using combo skills. And it kind of carries over as well. A big part of what I think made Destiny kind of suck, especially early on, I'll be honest, I got the second version with the Humble Bundle because I had come back for the Taken King, and I mean, like, I bought a PS4 themed The Taken King PS4, so it's not like I was fully committed to coming back and reliving the. Oh, I guess you can't replay without being in a mission. What was I saying? Guns. Guns were just kind of like the main point. In this game, it's all about skills. For the most part, from what I've gathered from the demo, there's a lot of cover that you're gonna end up experiencing. Why did it warp us into the middle of nowhere? But anyways, we're a ninja, so ninja gonna do. So, the Interceptor is all about big, flashy Sky Dancer twirls and chopping people to bits. And then, of course, nothing's stopping you from pulling out your gun and just laying into people. Oh. So yeah, in terms of, I don't know, getting a unique experience, I think this is kind of like a step up from Destiny. It's, and I mean, like, you're probably going to hear this non-stop until the end of time of how this could possibly compare or beat, I don't know, Destiny. And a lot of it comes around from just, like, the variety of units, and the skills. I think the problem that I have so far is I've played so little, and I've experienced just enough to get a feel of what the game is going to be like, that, I don't know, any sight that you're going to see is going to kind of give you the same impression. You know, I've been able to use 6 different types of bombs. So, if you imagine a system that draws heavily from Mass Effect, but wants to be Destiny, you kind of get the full experience of what this game is trying to come out with. Story is kind of like, I don't know, demo story. You can't really expect them to evolve everything as you play. But I mean, the scenery is just gorgeous. Oh. What's going down? I didn't get a warp to teammate warning, so I'm gonna go ahead and assume that the server has crashed. They made a big point, of course I'm looking away from the mic so it sounds like garbage, made a big point that server stability was probably going to be the biggest focus. And I mean, if you saw that we were playing, it's not like rubber banding. You're not bouncing back and forth trying to figure out what's going to connect and what's not going to connect. When you are actually in dungeons and even in story mode going through, it's a very, yeah, of course we lost connection to the server because it crashed. This has kind of been like probably the gripe about this demo, is just the number of times that the server has crashed. Probably because it's Saturday now, and everything is super overloaded. But yeah. Actually, let's try and we'll jump into a dungeon just to kind of give you an idea of how the loot system works. In the demo, anyways, as you progress through, we'll call them basically the checkpoints. Ooh, look at that ass. I mean, robot suit ass. Okay, let's change this up. I do have to say, free play has been probably just as crashy as maybe like 50% of the time that I do the mine. So I've crashed probably like, what? Almost 3 times now in free play, but only once in the dungeon. The downside is, as you progress through the dungeon... Sorry, lost my train of thought. As you progress through the dungeon, each time you hit one of these checkpoints, you get a big old cache of loot. Sometimes there's rares, sometimes there's uncommons. I haven't seen a single legendary yet, but I'm kind of looking for what kind of breaks, draws attention away from one gun versus the other. Yeah, because, I mean, at any point you can just look at a gun and try and figure out what the stats are. And I've kind of done the same between the marksman rifle that I have and the machine pistol. One is for your typical SMG, more close-ranged combat, where you can unload more bullets than you can make efficient out of the burst fire rifle. But that being said, there's only been a couple guns that I haven't been like, impressed with in terms of the damage and maybe like the survivability that comes with it from playing in hard. So we have a tank here, we have another interceptor, and we have a second tank. So no mage, no ranger, but it's okay.
Since when does Corvus care about scars?
Since they started making acidic weapons to attack supply caravans.
That's a good reason.
We think this is where they're making the acid.
Any idea how?
Of course, my teammates are just blowing up mines because, I don't know, maybe they don't want to fly, but sure, why not? I mean, like, this whole game is about flying. You can just, like, float gently across the game. But, yeah, if you pulled anything from, like, I don't know, other YouTubers' videos, initial impressions from, like, the VIP playthrough, the actual straight flying itself has terrible controls. Just awful. Sorry, and I know I'm talking over the gameplay here, but realistically, the more I talk, maybe the less I spoil. Oh, this guy's bad. Sorry, I was getting messed up and lost my train of thought. VIP demo, other YouTubers talking about flying. Oh, that's bad. So it's typical, I don't know, typical Destiny, typical Borderlands. When you get into a high combat zone, you're gonna be hard pressed to not just survive, but make it through unscathed. So you can't respawn while you're in these areas. You have to be revived. Gotta switch to our better gun. Anyways,
keep looking for the glowing things.
For the 9th time, flying controls are just awful. So I think I've run into more walls, and I have like 6 hours into this demo now. Mostly because not just like trying to rush levels and collect loot, but kind of like play around, see what the game has to offer, see all the work that gets put into these sorts of games. Nope, didn't throw it high enough. But yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know if the proper way to describe it is like a dead stick flying. It's just, you have the center reticle. Let me finish this guy and I'll hop into flying mode. You have the center reticle and you move the little circle around in order to fly. But when you want to, say, grab a lot of elevation really quick, you go up and then you pull down and you kind of lag. Like, it's not a straight up and down. You still turn at whatever 15th of a degree per second. And so, I mean, like, you jump into ceilings, you jump into walls, and of course if you faceplant into a wall or a ceiling, you just drop straight down. That guy was getting just wrecked by the Scar Hunter. So we do decent damage, but yeah. With the gear that they give you in the demo, I can't really recommend too aggressive of melee play. Did we skip? So, if you look at the top, you see the little quest reticle. It just shows you where to go. All we're doing is we're collecting echoes, which are these little lens flary balls. So, I guess what you can pull out of what people have been talking about flying, if you're really concerned about how hard flying is, just kind of make it like a dashing point rather than, I don't know, Gundam, Macross, the crazy mech fight battles where you're trying to turn on a whim and get away. The game is very responsive, and I don't know, like hardly any sort of like jitter. That being said, there was hardly any jitter until I encountered the interceptor. Yeah, why not? This game does not like when you dash, jump, spin, skydance, or around. And usually when I do this, I find myself not teleporting, but like getting like third jumps and not connecting with any of my hits. It's a very unique situation. Jesus. So bad. And our tank's down again. See if we can't kill these two guys before I get over to that. Nope. It was weird. Obviously I haven't locked out all the skills yet. At some point I was expecting to get a invisibility skill, which I mean would be absolutely great for running around and resurrecting people. But yeah, that hasn't happened yet. Okay. Let's dash. Get some shield back. Where'd he go? That's not too bad. I find the single target with this guy is pretty decent. Maybe not as steady as the Ranger. Oh, I don't know where I am, but I'm gonna pop my ult. So yeah, I originally thought I was getting some sort of maybe speed boost or invincibility, but I mean I've been frozen and killed so many times. I think I need to read into it just a little bit more. Yeah, so we finally grabbed the last ball, and he said no. But yeah, the way to get around responsive flying is just to pop in, pop out, make it short bursts. You know, as straight as possible. And yeah, flying in this game is just no big deal. But yeah, I guess going back to the, I don't know, the whole lag situation. The downside, which people are probably talking about right now, is if you disconnect during the game, I guess there's two types of disconnects. There is the disconnect where everyone in the party is kicked from the server because the server has shut down or, you know, crashed. Uh-oh. 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 It's okay. We'll sit here and wait to be rescued. Is that... Come on. Come on. Just give me a double jump. Give me a Skydancer twist.
Relics up ahead.
Let me dash in a direction. How did I find the only fucking hole in this game? I'm hoping there is a checkpoint at some point that warps me to my teammates, because where is the slash stuck button? Is there team communication? Is there a chat? I'm not going to be toxic, I swear. I just want to tell my team that I'm stuck in a stupid hole. So, how are you guys? Well, I mean, I guess while we're staring at me falling endlessly, the game has some bugs. I don't know how I fell into this tiny hole. Oh. Oh. Can I close? Can I jet up? Jet down? Jet a direction? Fly away? I turned voice off because automatic voice chat in this game is just awful. But hold on. Let's what's my push to talk button? Push to talk button. So as you can see, there's lots of interaction. Definitely has some consolitis, but hello? If anyone can hear me, I have managed to find a hole in the game, and I am now stuck in darkness. Nothing is well. Well, that was our trip into voice over IP. We'll just go ahead and turn that back off. And now we sit here and wait until they hit a checkpoint, as I can't tell if you can get kicked from this game, but I guess there's a first time for everything. So yeah, flying is okay. Gameplay is pretty good. Obviously, the main things that drive these sort of like loot collection games is what's happening in the end game, because I mean, if you have come from a background of Destiny, like, you know, you always want to be doing raids. You always want to be doing the Nightfalls. PvP was good, but it was also, for me, it was just kind of there when you were bored. I don't know, too many one-shot mechanics for me to really enjoy. Oh, let's, there we go. The ever-falling bush. So, guns are probably going to be a big distinction. Simply because, I don't know. I mean, it's probably a problem that many games have had. In the first game that actually made a difference in kind of having a variety of weapons versus just changing stats but still having the same gun, was The Division. So in The Division, you had like LMGs were made mainly for suppressing, but you could also use those big barrel sizes to, I don't know, suppress. They were just okay on bosses, and if you get the right kind of guns, you know, the reticle, the recoil, and the inaccuracy would decrease. You could find guns that the longer you hold down the gun, the more accurate it could be. Yeah, and so there was a whole bunch of variety to the guns that you found through the Division. So far, with all these weapons, like machine pistol, between an assault rifle and whatever the light machine guns are, they're just kind of like, okay. It comes down to kind of clicking between holding it down. But, I mean, grenades are fun. I mean, they were fun in Mass Effect, so at least they know their systems. Like, at no point have I been terribly disappointed with this game. I mean, bugs and server stability problems aside, Like, I mean, it's just been, when it works so flawlessly. Eventually you get used to flying. Eventually there's a section where you fly underwater that is probably one of the most infuriating things you can experience for the first time. But, you know, make sure that brightness is cranked. Don't go for the full cinematic, joyous experience. And yeah, I'm kind of running out of things to talk about because the demo isn't... No, it's just that. It's a demo. There's not a lot of deep gameplay to it. The worst part about this, and I can't really show you the gameplay, is like fighting all those mobs and like the legendaries and the elites. You know, it is more or less the same thing that you experience with most of these games. You're always looking for a weak spot or a way to exploit the AI of one of the mobs. When mobs start flying as kind of like a default feature, then you know, have to stray away from melee tactics and make sure you're focusing on staying in cover, which is okay. You get a bunch of abilities where you can put up walls, you can create areas where your gun damage is more, you can mark targets so that enemies take more damage. Can't really speak too much about the Colossus because I only got to see other people play it, but it is fun enough that, I don't know, I'm still considering buying it on launch. I do have a lot of games on the go, but I don't know. The whole reason you play these games is just to play with friends. And even if you're not playing with friends, this proper matchmaking co-op, and I will use the term proper matchmaking loosely because I don't know if it's just like the gear scores aren't working properly. Expedition team. So like I can show you my friends. So one of my buddies is playing right now. It says he's a 68 Ranger, but I know for a fact that his gear score, I think it was like 89. Yeah, you can't really see what your teammates are doing. And I don't think there's a feature to look at who's on your team in order to kick them out or do anything. I don't want to open that. I hate being stuck. It feels like just such a leech, not being able to just jump right back in or take a suicide death. I would love to take a suicide death. It says all of my gear is on cooldown, so I can't throw a grenade. I can't kill myself. So let's see. So this is my tracked screen. It kind of shows you the medals, awards that you can unlock that give you a slight bit of EXP. Here are your currencies that you will collect that I haven't bothered to look into because of demo. And then obviously these are all the items that I've collected so far with this mission that I will not get if the server crashes or I leave early. So, I think we've sat idle enough that we can just kind of call this an episode. I wasn't expecting to fall into a hole, but I guess you kind of make use of what you got. Can I shoot like an SOS flare? Same button. Map? That's the map. Settings. Alright. So, if you're looking for a too long, didn't listen, can't watch because nothing's happening on the screen, then I don't know. Know that this is going to be the worst part because he's going to die and I'm going to be stuck here. Okay. I'm just going to quit the game. So yeah, long and short of it is I think it's going to be a decent game. I don't think it's going to be as epic as Mass Effect. But yeah, it's such a terrible term, but until you've actually played the demo, it feels like a Bioware game missing key Bioware features. Like, the story's alright, but it's kind of just like, it's Destiny. It's people yelling at you over intercoms and radios. You go through a brutal main town that kind of just tries to create some sort of centralized hub so it doesn't feel like you're just going from room to room, which is okay. And even they've outlined that they're going to, it's like, yes, you can walk through and you can't jump, so you can just kind of take in the sights. But realistically, when you spread everything out, nobody really wants to be there. I didn't want to be there. I just wanted to talk to my people and get back to loot. But I don't know. Maybe I'm a tough person to cater to. But yeah, having played the demo, I'm going to take my character to level 15. I'm going to avoid falling in any more holes. And definitely try and find... Ooh, look, I'm clipping through the menu now. This is great. Definitely going to get the most of the demo. And then once launch comes around, I don't know, have some fun. Play with friends. I don't know if I'm going to do a playthrough of Anthem, just because it is... I don't know. To me, unless you're truly interested in it, it probably doesn't make too interesting of videos just watching people battle through waves. But who knows? I may eat my words and just do a quick playthrough. Maybe just for the one-time overs. But maybe I'll do it with friends. Who knows? Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. And if you're still teetering on the fence, I would say Anthem will be a good game as long as, I don't know, they fix their stability issues and the balance is there. Too little of information to tell from a demo, but who knows? If you're really sitting on the fence, maybe wait a week for all the super grinders to hit, I don't know, 30, and see whether or not this is just going to be kind of a piecemeal DLC season pass shit show that Destiny 2 turned into. Like, Destiny 2 fire sailed so quickly, and it was just because, like, they were trying to get you to sign up for paying for the game 3 times over. Yeah. Speaking of fire sales, every other game that I've bought in recently. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully I've provided some insight. Definitely didn't really get to show you too much gameplay. But yeah. I'm going to stop talking. I don't know how to end this video. Bye for now.